Hi guys, today I'm going to talk to you about a very important topic that I think is very timely to kind of what's going on in the world, especially what's going on in the United States, and this obesity trend that we seem to be exhibiting in our country. About 60% of the US population is either overweight or obese, which is quite frankly ridiculous and also very saddening, and a lot of people don't know where to start or how to lose the fat that they've accumulated on their body. Some people don't know how they've accumulated that fat. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is just some basics about fat loss, kind of a little bit about the physiology of a fat cell and how it's not just about what you eat, it's also about brain control and controlling your brain and making physiological changes to the brain through exercise that are going to promote a thin body and a lack of fat cell filling, which we'll talk about. And then I also want to talk about some of the stuff that we don't know, because we honestly don't know a lot. Because a lot of research has been done about obesity statistics and the risks of obesity and what diseases can come from obesity, but we don't know a lot about really how to solve the problem, unfortunately. That's kind of what hopefully is going to happen in the future. So first of all, I want to start by just talking about, kind of how to go about losing body fat, okay? You're going to hear some really crappy trainers tell you that, oh, well, if you gain more muscle, that muscle is going to burn more calories and you're going to lose fat. While muscle, yes, does burn calories all day long, and having more muscle obviously means that your basal metabolic rate might be greater, losing fat is very, very aerobic. Okay, it's very much going to require a cardiovascular component. Okay, I'm not saying don't lift weights, because every training program should involve weight training as long as the client is medically able to lift weights in a safe manner. But as far as losing that fat, we really need to get into the aerobic energy pathway. And as you might have known from my other blog post, that requires cardio. It's very, very much cardiovascular driven. So you really want to make sure that you're taking it up your cardio. You're doing a regular cardiovascular routine. I would honestly recommend 3 to 4 times a week. It doesn't have to be the same amount of time. So if you're doing weight training, obviously there's only so much time you can work out. I would say do about 3 days a week of cardio and weights blended together. And then I would do 2 to 3 days of just cardio itself. And on the days where you're just doing cardio, do it for a longer period of time. Okay? And then on the days you do weights, kick up the intensity level and cut back on the duration of the exercise, okay? But that is very important because aerobic metabolism is dependent on fatty acids. So what's going to happen is you are going to start breaking down catecholamines, which are basically like epinephrine, norepinephrine, and other types of hormones, are going to hit the fat cell, and there's going to be receptor sites on the fat cell, and what's going to happen is under ideal circumstances, it's going to hit the proper receptor that's going to break down the fat in the fat cell and use that for energy. Okay, a fat cell is basically people that are overweight or normal weight. So people that are healthy at a healthy weight and people that are overweight have the same number of fat cells. Okay, they've done studies on that. They have the same number of fat cells, but those who are overweight have a greater amount of fat packed into the cell. Okay, so the cell is stored, we'll use the term full, but basically the cell is full of more fat than someone who is at a healthy normal weight. Okay, so basically there's a little cell membrane inside of your fat cell that houses that fat packet, and it holds, and a lot of that filling is determined by the brain. Okay, so when you eat food and you eat more calories than you actually need, what happens is the food gets into your system, and there are physiological signals that get sent throughout your body and get sent to your brain, and then your brain has to decide, okay, what am I going to do with this? I now have all these extra calories, I don't know what to do with them, and your brain is pretty much going to store them as fat, and your brain's going to tell each fat cell how much they have to store, how much they have to fill, and that's going to basically create what's called a set point. Okay, and the set point is kind of the weight at which your body likes to remain at. So your body likes to keep things the same, and there's going to be one weight where your body likes to stay, and you're going to have to fight your body to literally get below or above that weight. Okay? Thin people have that problem, fat people have that problem. It doesn't seem to matter. If you're trying to gain weight, you're going to have to fight your body. If you're going to try and lose weight, you're going to have to fight your body, because your body likes being at this spot. Okay? And part of those neural connections between your brain and your fat cell make up that set point. Okay, so that's why if you just diet alone then give up, you gain that weight so fast, is because your brain now is going to start filling up those fat cells again. It's also one of the reasons why liposuction is not extremely effective, because you can lose a bunch of fat cells, but what's going to happen is your brain is used to having a certain amount of fat, and you're not dieting, you're not exercising, and so it's either going to fill up fat cells in other places. It could also take fetal fat cells and fill them up and set them somewhere in your body, or your brain may have the ability to make new fat cells. We don't know for sure on that last one. That one is still under speculation. So fat is very much determined by your brain based on the food you take in and the amount. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and say that it's 100% genetics and it's 100% your brain. No. Your brain is responding to your eating habits, okay? So it's very, very important to understand that if you are overweight and you are obese, you are eating more calories than you need, okay? That doesn't always happen. There are some rare cases where somebody is not overeating and they are active and they are still obese or overweight. It does happen. It's rare. Okay, for the most part, we're going to keep it simple, and it's basically you're overeating or you're not exercising enough. Okay, so you have to do one of two things. You have to either cut your calories back or exercise more. And ideally, I like my clients to do both. And in part 2 of this video, I'm going to explain exactly why that is. So that's all for part 1, and I will talk to you guys for part 2. Thank you. Bye.